Coming bull run should be really interesting, and I say the coming bull run because I personally don't think we are in the bull run yet. And I made a very big tweet on how I am going to play this exactly. I'm not saying you should, but it may give you a little insight and hopefully it helps you a little bit. So please like the video, subscribe to the channel. Let's get right into it. There is a Patreon link down below, by the way, for a lot of exclusive content, podcasts, wallet trackers of influencers. So do check it out. For now, I want to talk about the coming bull run. Before we get into this tweet, what I said, like, hey, I don't think we are in the bull run yet. Some people think we are. It depends a little bit on what you define as bull run. If you look, Bitcoin did a 190% gain. Yeah, it's not a bear market that we can all agree on. I don't think this is the bull run. And that's purely because I like to look at previous cycles, and before like the white lines are the halving, and that's coming up in around April 2024, so in a couple of months from now. But usually we always see these pumps. We have the bottom, then we have a huge pump, and then usually we go down. And this was because of COVID, but this was not because of COVID, and we still came down 50%. We saw it here as well. We had the bottom, we went up, huge pump, we had a final crash, and then we went up. And even here we saw it, we had the bottom, we had a huge pump, we came down, and then we started to moon again. And that the whole move down hasn't happened yet. Now, will it be such a big move down as the previous cycles? I don't think so. I believe in diminishing, I mean, it's what the charts say, right? There are diminishing returns. I also believe in diminishing losses, and that's also what we see if you look at the Bitcoin cycles. Here we went down 86%, here we went down 84%, here we went down 78%, right? So I also believe that the pumps and the dumps will be both less big as there is, more liquidity in the market. And now even when we get an ETF, there will be way more liquidity in the market. So that won't be that big. But I do think we could come down with a decent amount. So let's get into my playbook. If you don't follow me on Twitter yet, by the way, being a little bit more active right there, go follow me right there. It's easier to just show this than making videos all the time. So how I see this bull run playing out, and please leave your opinion below. Some people might agree, some people might not agree. The thing that we can all agree on is that nobody knows, and it's good to have multiple insights. So I will be very specific, so I will get this wrong, right? I cannot be this specific and have everything right. That doesn't exist. But close enough is good enough to make a fortune in the coming years. What do I mean by that? I want to talk about what I mean by this tweet as well. If I, for example, say that Bitcoin is going to 300K, right? And it goes to 250. Hey, I'm wrong, right? But it's close enough to make some good money, right? If somebody predicted Bitcoin to go down in the last bear market to 12K, there are a lot of people that say like, oh, people are still waiting for 12K. In my opinion, these people nailed it. We went down to 15.5. It's not that big of a difference, right? So you don't have to get it right, because I can already tell you, you won't, right? You won't. There's like a very low chance that you are lucky enough to get it right. This, what I say, is purely based on the previous cycles instead of trading news, since crypto is very cyclical. Now, I won't show the charts after every sentence, but that's what I mean. Some people might say like, hey, we won't go down because there's an ETF coming, right? But here there was also news which was very bullish. Otherwise, we did not make a 4x right here. But we still came down, right? Despite good news. There's always good news and there's always bad news. Overall, the chart is every cycle quite the same, right? We top out end of 2013, we make a bottom end of 2014, we go up, we go down, halving, parabolic. End of 2017, top, end of 2018, exactly 4 years, right? Bottom. Well, I can repeat this exactly the same. So despite the news, I'm not much of a news trader. I know a lot of people, they trade on news, but in my opinion, that's like, we see that in the charts. And if we don't, then the news is probably not big enough. So Q1 2024, Bitcoin will have a correction to the lower 30s. Altcoins could come down 50-60% with it. This is where I will deploy my big money into crypto. This is the most controversial part of the whole tweet probably, because I've spoken about this a lot in my videos and I get a lot of shit for it. Like from probably people that don't want this to happen. I position myself that I don't care what happens, right? If it goes up, I'm good. If it goes down, I'm good as well. I think that's the smartest thing to do though. I'm not all in the market and I'm not all out of the market, and I will never be that. Why lower 30s? Well, one, there are some big, support there that we haven't retested yet. Like, for example, we had a top right here. We went up and we retested that top, right? We had a top right here. We went up. We retested that top. This was resistance. This was resistance. We tested as support. We tested as support. This 30K, we blessed right to it. But there's not a support level yet. So even if we go to 30K, it will be a higher low. And it will still be a bullish trend. It will still be an uptrend. Although it looks like, hey, going from 45 to 30 is fucking bearish. Technically, it's not. So it could still happen. And like I said, we did not have that second retest yet. Also, I made a video a while ago about how Bitcoin moves on average, and I'm not going to repeat that, but I said like, hey, usually in a pre-halving year, it goes up by that many percent, it goes down by that many percent, here as well, and we took the average, and the average showed us that it now would go to 52K and then come down to 30. Again, it might be completely wrong, but that's the average based on, the full history that we have right now. So, why not take the average out of that? But it could be higher, it could be lower, it could be lower, it could be higher here as well. But that's the average. Also, yeah, you could use some technical tools like Fibonacci tools, and then some like the 382 is setting at 32,000. The golden zone is sitting between 30K and 26K. So yeah, 30K, give or take, should be a good level. If we use Fibonacci tool from where we topped out until where we bottomed, that's here. Then the minus 1.618 is coming in at around 30K as well. A lot of things line up back to that 30K. So that's what I think. Now, why altcoins go down with it? Also, it's repetitive, so I won't make it that long. But if you look at altcoins on their Bitcoin pair, that's this chart, which has gone, came down quite hard. If we do get such a Bitcoin pullback, let's overlay Bitcoin on it, right? Usually, at least usually, last time, right? It's 1 out of 1. It's not a high chance, but hey, we went down to this level. And when we broke down from this level, so we are there right now as well. And when we broke down, right, that usually happened, or that last time happened when Bitcoin was going down as well, right? So if we see Bitcoin go down, which again is pretty likely, but altcoins also go down on the Bitcoin pair, yeah, then altcoins, of course, bleed way harder because, hey, Bitcoin is worth less, but altcoins are worth less against Bitcoin. So altcoins are even worth less against, the dollar. Go away. Then I feel like, hey, if Bitcoin goes to 30K, that's from the point where we are right now, around 27% down, right? Yeah, if altcoins go down against Bitcoin with, where's my chart? Well, let's say this one. If altcoins go down against Bitcoin with like 40%, something like that, maybe even 30, right? Then it kind of lines up with 60% down for altcoins. If we do take a look at the altcoin market, is the others, everything, excluding the top 10, so not the total 3 sucks. 60% down is here. Is back to the lows, right? It's my bearish case scenario, all right? It's the most bearish case scenario. But some altcoins will, probably, right? Especially the ones that have made an 8x in the last couple of months. You know, if they go down with 60%, they're still way higher than where they came from. So yeah. Then a month or so after the halving, the parabolic bull market starts for Bitcoin. End of 2024, beginning of 2025, Bitcoin will make new all-time highs. Now, why do I say that? Well, again, if you do take a look at what Bitcoin is usually doing, right? We have the halving. Let me put it on the weekly. We have the halving, right? What happened after the halving right here? Yeah, it did kind of nothing from November 2012 to December, right? For a month, right? Here we have the halving, and it did kind of nothing from July to October. Here we had the halving. I'm skipping one. Yeah, that's the same. Here we have the halving. Sorry, this. It doesn't take it back. Where's my other halving? It's on the weekly chart, doesn't show. Anyway, overall, 2 months usually of little down sideways before we really go up. And then I say like, hey, then end of 2024, beginning 2025, I expect Bitcoin to make new highs. Why do I say that? Well, I look like, hey, we had the high right here. When did it make a new high? Oh, February 2013, right? That was like the halving, after the halving year, right? Here, we took out this high in 2017. That was after the halving year. Here, let me see. I really fucked something up on this chart. Oh, I deleted my halving right here. That's it. So we had the halving in, I don't know, from the top of my head, actually. I think it was July 2020. Yeah, it was July 2020. So let me get a line right there. It wasn't July. Well, it was somewhere there. I don't care. But we had the halving. But here we had the top, December 2017. When did we take that top out? November 2020, right? November 2020 lines up with 2024 as well. But that was the end of it. So usually it's the end of the halving year, beginning of the year that comes after that. So end of 2024, beginning 2025 is usually when Bitcoin makes new highs, right? So again, it's all based on averages, right? But hey, that's all we got. Alt season will start in that same period. By then, it might be a good time to convert Bitcoin to altcoins. Now, why do I say that? Because of the Bitcoin dominance. And again, not a lot of history on that as well. But here we had the halving. And when did we get an alt season? Well, we had the halving, and the alt season started 8 months after the halving. Okay, for the people that don't know, an alt season is where the Bitcoin dominance go down, right? Because an alt season is where altcoins outperform Bitcoin. So here it was 8 months after the halving. This alt season started 8 months after the halving, right? So 2 out of 2. Hey, it's not like certain, but let's say it does, right? 8 months after the halving, December 2024, right? So it might be that we go up first and then go down. So I expect like real alt season to happen by then. So we have a year. The run will continue from 1 year and will likely top out at the end of 2025. Now, I think everybody in his right mind is kind of expecting that right now because we had the top end of 2013, end of 2017, end of 2021, so end of 2025. And you could say like, well, everybody is expecting that, so it won't happen. But the fact that you think that is likely the reason that you will be wrecked because you will sell too early or too late. Like this was also very predictable. And the people that said it was not going to happen, it looked like for a moment they were right. Like we topped here and we went all the way down. And people were like, oh, you see, this time is different. And then, no, it's not different, bye. So, hey, I'm not fighting the trend until the trend changes, right? In this last year, I will allocate most of my money to crypto, gaming, and launch pads. Well, I wrote that a little wrong. It is not that I will buy mostly altcoins during the last year. You want to buy it before that happens, of course. But like I said, hey, maybe, you know, end of 2024, it's a good time to convert your Bitcoin into altcoins, right? Because then the Bitcoin dominance usually goes down. A small selection of what I think will do well. Well, here's a list of altcoins, mostly launchpads and gaming tokens, infrastructures, studios, layer ones, that kind of stuff, and many more, right? If you follow the channel, you know about my crypto portfolio. If you don't yet, follow it more. I will keep a lot of cash on the sideline to allocate to new projects which are coming out through launchpads like Seedify, Neo Tokyo, etc. People sometimes say like, hey, you haven't bought, you will miss out, you are sidelined. I will never be sidelined because I have a big position into launchpads, right? And I need money to allocate to, participate in these pre-sales. That's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to put all my money into the market right now because, for example, at the moment of recording, Bloodloop or Evermoon are going to release on Seedify. These are projects that I'm really bullish on. I need my money to put them into there and not to buy it from the open market once they are already out. Because if they do a 50x, yeah, you can buy it, but I will be the one dumping on you. I'm not going to lie, of course. If I made a 50x, I will sell it. Duh. So that is part of my strategy. Like I said right here, the real big gains won't be made by buying tokens from the open market, but from new projects which are now being built, like Ready Games, Portal Coin, Bloodloop, Gunzilla, right? And somebody asked like, hey, how do you get a hold of Gunzilla? I have no idea. I wish I knew. So if you know, let me know. And like 200 more, I can't name them all. Like there are so many good projects coming out. Launchpads are the cheat code. Please do not ignore that sentence because you will slap your mother at the end of 2025 for not raising you better than that. Okay. This is how I will play the bull market. And most important, end of 2025, I will sell everything. I won't fall in love with projects no matter how great they are. Cycles just don't allow us to make money by holding during bear markets. Let's do this together. I wanted to end with cycles don't allow you to make money during bear markets. That's not true. You can short the market, but that's a risky way to do it. But if you're just holding tokens, especially altcoins, in the bear market, you will get wrecked. And you might feel like, nah, next bull market, you do not know if they will survive. And even if they survive, you could hold a token like this, right? Like Hex. Hey, it doesn't look that bad, right? Think again. Look what Hex did. Hex went from 55 cents to whatever the fuck this is. You were able to turn $100 into 80 cents by just holding during a bear market. And that's a worst case scenario. Most projects are better than Hex, let's be honest. But still, a lot of projects will wreck you really hard. Even my favorite, Seedify, right? If you look at the full history of Seedify, here, it did went from like $18 all the way to 50 cents. You still managed to get $100 and turn it into $3. Yeah, take your money out, man. Even if the market does decide to do something different. If you play it like this, you will make enough money to not feel any fucking FOMO by the end of 2025 anymore. In case that time will be different. So this is how I'm going to play it. I will sell everything. I will stay in crypto. I will keep on learning. I will keep on building. I will keep on trying to reach out to projects, get to know them, look what's going on, look what's being built, look what the next big narratives are. But I'm not putting my money into it, right? There's a difference. You can learn or you can invest. And investing, if I say investing, a lot of people think like putting money in. Hey, you can also invest in yourself, right? In building knowledge and communities and all that kind of stuff. So this is my bull market playbook, strategy, roadmap, whatever. yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up right here. This is the video. If you like it, like it. If you dislike it, dislike it. Subscribe to the channel, turn the bell notification on, let me know what you think. And if you have another opinion, let me know as well. I'm open to everything. But I think this is give or take how it's going to play out.